What up, guys? Mumford and Kid here, back again. So you guys know that I'm a big fan of Mr. Horror. Mr. Nightmare, excuse me. I said Mr. Horror. No offense. Mr. Nightmare. And we are here to take a look at some more of Mr. Nightmare's videos. He makes good content. I enjoy him very much. Today we're watching 3 disturbing true horror stories. And to make it better, I'm kind of glad that I'm doing it earlier. It's right now, I'm looking at my clock. It is 4:50 in the afternoon. So that's good. I won't be having to really look over my shoulder too much. I don't get too rattled with these, but sometimes my crazy mind starts thinking, and I start, I don't get crazy like Blasphemous. Shout out to Blasphemous HD. But yeah, anything he watches stuff like this, that's mere sounds, and he flips out. But as always with Mr. Nightmare's videos, guys, I leave out maybe the last part. So since there's 3, we're only going to watch 2 here. Link in the description below to check out the last story. Let's do this. All right. But yeah, like I said, you want to check out the last story, how the last story prevailed and things like that. Go to his channel. Link in the description below. He makes good content. Yeah. So let's do this now. All right. Story number 1.
My friend Brian and I used to be big on urban exploration, especially in the dark. About a half-hour drive away from our houses is an old hospital/asylum that's been abandoned for decades.
Don't go in there.
It hasn't been torn down because it's in a really secluded location and it would just cost too much money. Brian and I wanted to bring a Ouija board along with us and explore it one Thursday night.
No.
Pulling into the unlit parking lot and seeing the massive structure standing tall in the night, even we were having second thoughts.
Yo, that image looks scary as fuck.
Gangs were known to hide out in this building.
Could you imagine driving up to something like that?
Surprisingly, there didn't seem to be any security patrolling the perimeter, so the process of getting in was pretty easy. We found a broken window that seemed to have been made into a common entryway by other urban explorers and delinquents. Brian and I have a lot of experience exploring abandoned structures at night, and admittedly, even we were creeped out by this building.
That's a sign.
We made our way to the highest floor and did a little exploring.
Oh, come on, man.
There were so many holes in the floor that our confidence in the structure holding our weight was low.
No jump scares.
The floors were creaky and soft in certain spots, and there were rooms that led into dark nothingness. Every time I'd shine my light down into one of them, I'd have the haunting thought of someone or something being inside one of them. We found a good spot to set up the Ouija board and candles. Yeah, we went all out with this. When the candles were lit, Brian and I placed our hands on the planchette and began our attempt at communicating with some kind of spirits. We weren't really the type to joke around with it, so we weren't pushing it around ourselves just to mess with each other. However, the planchette didn't move the whole time. Maybe that was because our Ouija board session was interrupted when we heard a creaking noise coming from inside one of the dark open rooms nearby. It wasn't just a fluke noise. It was a steady, consistent creaking, once every 1 or 2 seconds.
Move.
Brian and I quietly packed up our stuff.
Yeah, and get the fuck out of there.
He whispered to me to go shine the light inside of the room.
Get the hell out of there.
I whispered he's got to be crazy. What if gang members were in there?
What'd he say?
Brian whispered, gang members? Forget it, I'll do it. I whispered no, but he either ignored me or didn't hear me. He tiptoed over to the doorway, which was pointless given that he'd be shining a light into the room. However, he never even turned that light on, because before he could, a distinct, quiet, short yet sharp laughing or cackling could be heard coming from inside the room.
Stop.
It sounded like an older woman's cackle. It was the most disturbing moment of my life. Brian screamed run, and we both ran down the 10 flights of stairs and back out the window we climbed in through. We continued running all the way back to my car and drove out of the woodsy property. We swore to never go back there, and we haven't.
Oh,
the thing that sucks is that we usually recorded our visits to places like this. And one of the few times we didn't, the most disturbing moment of my life took place. It happened one night when my parents and I were hearing noises coming from outside of our farmhouse.
fucking farmhouse.
The best way I could describe the noises were various types of cracking and thud sounds. My dad and I met in the living room to discuss what we should do, because we were positive that there must have been people out there stealing our produce. My dad ran to his gun closet and drew his shotgun, and together we stormed outside into the night, turning on all of the lights mounted on the outside walls of the house. My dad apparently saw somebody because he started yelling stop as he ran to the crops. I followed him, and I too started to spot legs running underneath the crops. The legs of 2 or more people. My dad called at me to keep up with him as he chased down the thieves in the dark.
There's better not be no signs, crap.
After running about 50 feet into the woods, my dad stopped and reached out his arm to signal for me to stop as well. As I was choking for air while out of breath, I watched my dad as he stood in place, looking around us.
What the fuck
I swear we were standing still for like 30 seconds in silence. I didn't have the energy to ask what he was doing.
What the hell is that?
But eventually I caught on. I saw what my dad was looking at. There was a person standing about 10 feet away from us, but all I could see was his face, since he was mostly covered by a bush. The sound of an October leaf crunching nearby revealed there to be another person standing only 10 feet away. As my dad and I looked around more carefully, we realized there were more than just 2 guys watching us. There were 7, or 8, or 9, or even more. My dad slowly looked back at me, and then back at the person closest to him. What made the scene so much more disturbing, we could only see the people's faces, which were partially illuminated by the moonlight. My dad took a few steps back and broke the silence by saying, "We're leaving." We both started walking backwards, noticing the people were inching closer at the same time.
Okay, now run.
My dad waved the shotgun around to let them all know he was armed.
You bucked him. You bucked.
When we made it past the tree line and back onto the property, we sprinted back to the house. I'd never seen my old man run so fast in his life. He slammed the door behind him and watched the windows with the gun still in his hand, while I called the sheriff's office. The cops took a while to respond, about 15 minutes, and the 2 officers that showed up were very unhelpful. They only asked questions and took down notes. They didn't actually go looking for the group we encountered. The cops left within 10 minutes, but it ultimately didn't matter, because by the next day, nothing happened. So we assumed it was over, and it was. There was never any follow-up to this.
What the fuck? The fuck was that? See that? What the hell was that? Okay, like I said, I'm gonna end it right there. The last story, you just gotta go on Mr. Nightmare's channel to watch for yourself. That story number 2, that one, that was creepy. That I can, first of all, I'm not chasing anybody into cornfields or whatever. Just instinct in me kicking that something's wrong. My spider sense will start tingling real quick. Did you hear what he just said? He said all he could see was their faces, and there were more of them. What the fuck was that? What was that? Who were they? Dude said he had a shotgun. He was still scared. And while they backed up, they inched closer. So you know what? When they start taking 2 steps forward, well, I'm taking 2 steps back, and they inching closer, I'm gonna buck one of them, just to give them a, yeah, don't come near me. That's creepy. That's creepy as fuck. First story. Don't ever go into abandoned anythings. Okay? I don't care if you're a rural explorer or whatever the fuck you want to call that. Your conscience starts bothering you with stuff like that. Okay? Your conscience starts bothering you, and it tells you, hey, doofus, don't be going in there. And especially, I don't give up. I am not going into any abandoned asylum. It's bad juju in there for me. That's just bad juju. I just mess up my feng shui. I, I don't I don't no. Nope. Nope. Um if I was to rank the stories, because I've seen the last story. You guys just got to see it for yourself. I'd probably say the second story was the best. That one actually kind of was creeping me out the most. Um, I didn't look to my left or look to my right, but yeah, that one creeped me out. Yeah, man. Hey, like I said, it's a good thing I'm doing this in the afternoon, late afternoon. Yeah, man. But yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm not fucking with shit like that. No, nope. Uh, and I'm pretty much a big adventurous guy, but my conscience bothers me more than most people about doing idiotic shit like those guys did. Anyway, Mount Vernon Kid saying peace, one love, stay tuned, keep it real. Take my advice, guys. Don't do stuff like that. Don't go into abandoned places in the middle of nowhere, included in some backwooded area. I'm out. Nope, nope. Not doing that shit.